Matchroom Pool welcomes you to the U.S. Open Championship. Players, it's time to break!
As I've said before, the cacophony of spheres, music to the ears, although 3 tables you won't hear breaking off right now because they are still going on from the first session today. 3 matches on the one loss side haven't been completed yet, so that just goes to show how intense that first session was. And this match is bound to be intense as well, Nick. You have to make Jayson Shaw, for me personally, I think he's an overwhelming favourite.
Well, indeed, Phil. An absolute pleasure to be here. Good evening to those stateside and across the pond. Shaw's really in anybody's top 5 of rotation players in the world, both in terms of actual ability and just raw talent. And of course, Trump, a virtuoso with a cue in his hands. And a nice start for him. I don't know if he left a sliver here for Shaw. But just a terrific match here. See what both men bring to the table tonight. Well, he's obviously left Trump a nice shot to get things going. The table is fairly open. To leave himself a nice angle on the 2 to navigate position on the 3. He's done well with it. Just wants to avoid the 9 ball here. And this is Trump's first real test. As they've said, he's had, you know, a fairly easy draw thus far, but everything we know about Trump, he seems like the kind of guy who would revel in a moment like this as opposed to whatever the opposite of that would be. I'm not sure if the 4 passes the 7. If it doesn't, this is a bit precarious. He's looking at it now. Just bobbles it. He's gotten away with it, though.
Yeah, I think the tactical side of Trump's game has been better than I thought it would be. His break-off shot certainly better than I think most anticipated. Surprisingly, he's missing more balls than we thought he would.
Getting a round of applause to signify that he did in fact hook him behind the 7. Dynamite shot if he did. He may have left him just a little piece, perhaps enough to take it on cross side, although it's awfully thin. Comes with a safety of sorts, and that's a nice shot. Beautiful speed there, freezing him on the end rail. You're right, Phil. It's the pocketing of the balls that's eluded Trump at times, and it's just the spin and English of pool is vastly different than snooker.
There is a debate, you know, would he have been better to play with these normal snooker cue?
It's an interesting question. For me, instinctually, the answer is yes. And look at this. A 2-way shot of sorts for Shaw. He does apologize to Trump. Perhaps he wasn't playing it, only he'll know. But what a start for Jayson Shaw, 1-0.
Yeah, the fortuitous 4-9 combination. Getting the 9 in motion in this game is always a useful thing to do. You never know. And the 9 there just about crept in. So Jayson Shaw, very quick to apologise, but inside, delighted. just missed the cue ball. The cue ball then just missed again, and the 9 went in. By the way, Jayson Shaw is here via a Hill victory over on table 7 on the one last side of the draw. H.C. Chen is again Hill, this time with Bader Alawadi. He likes his money's worth.
Yes, he certainly does. Seen Shaw win so many Hill matches over the years.
Jayson Shaw to break, leading 1 rack to 0.
He's just clutch, this guy. He has it all, you know, skills and a lot of heart, a lot of grit. Corner ball flies in. The 1 seems to be cooperating, although the 3 does not. So let's see if he elects to jump right off of the bat, roll out, perhaps even kick. Surveying it as we speak. Looks like he is. Well, he's eyeing it. Awkward angle for a southpaw. 2 lefties tonight, Phil. I believe he is grabbing the jump cue, or perhaps not. Let's see.
Over Judd Trump's shoulder there, you can see basically over the word Judd on the scoreboard. That's Jack Trump, Judd's brother and right-hand man. Since those two got together and Jack started travelling around with Judd everywhere, Trump's strike rate for winning tournaments has gone through the roof.
There you go. You know, they obviously have a great rapport together, comfortable. Nice to roll around with your people. Push out here from Shaw, and he'll challenge Trump to accept and work a safety of some sort, which he's been masterful at thus far.
Yeah, I think there have been 2 portions of his tactical play. One is that sometimes he doesn't see an obvious shot that someone more experienced would, but when he tries to play a shot, the execution is normally very tidy.
Indeed, and nicely done here, although the 1-2 carom might be fairly makeable for a player like Shaw. I think he'll want to apply a lot of right-hand spin to this one. He's looking at it now. Try to come off of the left side of the 1 into the 2. He's done very nicely. Just nicks the 7, and I believe he's perfect. I don't think the purple 4-ball precludes his sight. One of the great strokes in the game, Jayson Shaw. Such a powerful player. Just filled with talent. Plays with an exceptionally long cue, as does Shane Van Boning and a few others. He has the extension basically permanently added to the back of the cue, 65 some odd inches. Nicely done here.
Yeah, that cue is so lengthy you could perhaps take a pole vaulting.
Right. A versatile weapon of sorts. He might elect to zip it 1-2 across or just pinch it back slightly. Comes with the latter.
And there's nothing Shaw revels in more. He just relishes being centre stage, and this kind of challenge will suit him down to the ground.
Jayson Shaw wins the rack.
As this 9-ball goes in a little more conventionally than in the opening rack.
Right, leading 2 racks to 0.
Oh, a veritable who's who. I mean, things are really heating up down here, which is to be expected at the U.S. Open as things get thinned out. The room is just full of world-class talent from near and far. Corner ball flies in, 1 in the side. 2 balls careening around, 6 in the side, 8 hanging up. A nice look at the 2 and Shaw's reminding Trump early how things go on this side of the pond.
And let me just quickly remind you that Table 2 action can be followed on the YouTube channel of Matchroom live over there. And a really interesting contest going on. Earl Strickland, 60 years of age, on the one lost side of the draw, taking on Moritz Neuhausen, a very young German player who's got his whole career in front of him. Strickland leads 1-0.
Oh, always compelling to see Earl in action. Lovely speed from Shaw on that opening 2 ball. Probably try to get fairly close to this 8 ball to ease navigations to the 9. Why not? Let's see how long that cue is from this angle. As good a player as any when he's on, Phil.
Yeah, the ideal start. He leads Judd Trump 3-zip. 3, snooker, 0. That's the story so far here at the Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City. It is day 3 of the US Open. Judd Trump has won his first 3 matches in the tournament, but now the snooker man finds himself with his back against the wall. Mind you, the Jayson Shaw break-off in rack 4. Neuhausen. Earl Strickland, a 5-time US Open champion. And talking of US Open champions, another one has joined us in the commentary box. The 2003 champion, Jeremy Jones. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks, Phil. Hey, Nick. Looks like Shaw's doing his thing. First dry break, I'm assuming.
It's actually the second. And hello, sir. But he is indeed doing his thing. He looks good so far.
And Trump, any errors?
Small, but he's also looked good. He did bobble one in rack 1, and Shaw's basically punished him. Lovely shot there.
Yeah, Jeremy, what set the pattern really was the fact that Shaw won the opening rack with a fluked 4-9 combo.
We'll talk about it with Jayson all the time. Eagle Eye, of course, is his nickname because of that deadly ball pocketing. But this part of the game, I don't think he gets enough credit. Nifty little shot he made on the kick shot there on the 1. Same here by Judd Trump. Great shot.
Yeah, nicely done from Trump. And you're right, Jeremy. I suppose it's often the case with players who have such firepower. Their defensive prowess can be a bit underrated. Do you like going high here, Jeremy?
You mean with the jump cue?
I do.
I think so, just because the kick looks very tough. You know, he could swerve the ball a little around the 4, I guess. Got action that way. Or excuse me, around the purple 5. It's funny, I didn't make a mistake with the playing it, but I'll do it in the commentary sometime.
I don't think I'll ever get used to it. For those of a certain age, the purple 5 can be a bit tricky, as it was the 4 ball for 50 some odd years. And lovely little shot here. Gets a bit of love from the 7. This is a bit steep though, Jeremy, but I think okay. Yeah,
he's a lefty, so he can reach it nicely. Probably just takes a chance going right between the 9 and 8 up and down the table for shape on the 3. But it seems to me, you know, Jayson, who played English 8 ball and I'm sure toyed around with snooker at a young age, those nifty little kick shots and safety shots seem to be something they excel at, besides just, you know, knocking balls in from everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. He really does have all the shots. Nice call. He did travel between that 8 and 9, like you said. And I believe this passes the pink 4 into the side, although it's a very small side pocket from this angle. Such a great shot maker, though. He's eyeing it now.
Yeah, the middle pockets, knocking them in at this angle. It's like threading the eye of a needle.
Beauty there.
Yeah, and a bit of a two-way shot. You could see him holding the cue ball behind the brown. But something kind of like a diamond was known for, Phil, in the States, was the side pockets being brutally tough.
Classy there, the high side of the side pocket.
Psychologically, I think one thing really helping Jayson Shaw is that in his third match, while Trump was coming through relatively unscathed, 11-5 against Abdullah Al-Shamari, Shaw came very close to defeat. He beat H.C. Chen 11-10 earlier today. And after surviving that, perhaps he feels bulletproof.
Well, I totally agree. Talked to Jayson last night a bit and explained my situation, which he kind of...
Now, quality collides time after time after time, not just, by the way, on the winner's side, but also on the loser's side as well.
Rack 5, Jayson Shaw to break, leading 4 racks to 0.
Yeah, we're getting to that part of the tournament where the loser side matches will be dynamite as well. And the cream of the crop is remaining. It's come up dry a couple times. Figured it out there. 8 ball flies in. 1 ball careening around and setting up nicely, Jeremy.
Yeah, great spot. And I really like what Phil brought up about the venue. I think the venue can really add to the nerves as much as anything. I think it's much different than a lot of what you're used to, especially not playing some big tournaments in a while. It's almost like it's so nice, there's so much space, that you almost notice more going on as a player.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. It's a beautiful room here, and the production is top-notch. Lights abound. Such a class kind of hall. And you can hear a pin drop, forgive the obvious. Got this little bit of music going on in the background, but mostly just the sound of pool balls rolling around.
Yeah, for the opening break in the morning. I guess it was day 1, but it kind of reminded me of the Color of Money a little bit when they're at the tournament there and all the balls break at the same time, pretty much. So,
no, it's very Color of Money-esque in here. Little tricky here, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is off angle, some distance, kind of something he excels at, though. Not out of the woods yet, though. Over the 7, and not quite thin enough to make going back and forth easy, but not thick enough to be able to hold it so easily either, Nick. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a nice point. I was about to ask you the same thing. Let's defer to Mr. Shaw. Well, he made back and forth look easy, and once again, a bit thin, so he's having to work for this one. His ball pocketing's been so on point thus far.
In goes the green 6, and that's the colour of the prize money. US dollars. At stake, 50,000 big ones for the winner.
Indeed, Phil. Oh, beautiful little inside English. Boys, he's looking pretty good here tonight on the boardwalk. About to extend it to 5-0. Jayson Shaw.
Jayson Shaw wins the rack.
Yeah, those back in the UK, I think he's had a tremendous debut. And the way he's conducted himself here has been, well,
Rack 6.
I've been
Jayson Shaw to break,
very impressed
leading
and
5
proud
racks
of
to
him.
0.
And of course, if he loses tonight, it's not the end of the road. He goes to the one lost side, and who knows what can happen there.
Yeah, he's all class. And lest we forget, this match isn't over, although an incredibly tall order for Trump. A glimmer of hope here with the 3-5 tied up. Jeremy, initial thoughts here?
Yeah, there's no 2-ball, and the one really doesn't offer much besides this cross-side bank. He may draw into the pink here and just take on the bank. He can lay him up behind the brown if he wants. He won't see Jayson getting out of hand. And I think Jayson, as much as any, probably knows, you know, what snooker players are very capable of and what their weaknesses are, and so on and so forth. But as far as Trump's concerned, I thought he had a tough match in the last. You know, that opponent he had in his last match can play.
Yeah, he can play, but in that contest, Jeremy, he didn't. He was very poor, and he made an absolute glut of mistakes.
Yeah, well, I feel for him because I was in the same boat, same time.
A nice call there, Jeremy. Did lay him up on the 7. No real simple path.
The pink has really got him cut off. I would go to the top rail, which is on the left side of your screen. You could call it the bottom rail and back at the 3 that way.
Extension, please.
Yeah, extension called. He's trying to figure it out. Looks like he's trying to go 2 rails. A lot of spin.
Armstrong.
It's ball in hand.
Yeah, and that was a lot to ask. And as great as these guys are, that, you know, he was trying to bend that cue ball a little bit, right? Probably not something they do very often playing snooker, shot like that. But usually the snooker players, I think, kick very well. Played Steve Davis many times in the Moscone Cup. And when he rolled out, you may not like have seen that situation where he rolled out, but you knew that he knew something, you know, and so you normally took the shot.
Well, Davis on one occasion potted the winning 9-ball, didn't he, in the Moscone Cup, and he also reached the semi-final of the World 9-ball Championship. What a cue sports mind, that man.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, pocketing the ball, but he obviously got through the rack great, but just really a genius, in my opinion, when it came to understanding what was going on and what was going to happen. Pretty funny guy, too.
Sure you have some stories, buddy. Looks like he's okay. A little bit close for comfort from our vantage point, but I think he's just fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't do much here. I think he just holds the ball, takes the 9 in the upper corner.
Shaw agrees. Yeah, pulled it back a little bit.
Yeah, the angle fooled us.
He's looking awfully confident, Phil.
Well, he is. You know, Jayson Shaw in his second match here against his defeat to send him to the one-loss side of the draw. Now trying to bounce back. There's another big player on the one-loss side, Warren Kiamko, and Skylar Woodward being held to 3-3 by fellow American Sean Wilkie.
Well, this is getting a little bit out of hand, Jeremy.
Yeah, with him, you could see at the last couple of breaks getting the speed on the 1 going to that corner. And you see that by quite a few guys. That'll change, I think, come the final 16 when they start using the triangle. But at this moment, yeah, you could see matches if one guy gets comfortable. And Shaw looks pretty darn comfortable, and the score says so. You could see some lopsided scores here.
Yeah, he sure does. In a trance of sorts, just unconscious out there.
In between sessions, you know, I was just researching how he did when he won the US Open in 2017. He was unbeaten, won 8 matches out of 8 down there in Virginia, and boy, what a succession of world-class opponents he overcame, the likes of Ko Pin-yi, Yukio Akagariyama, Billy Thorpe, Ko Ping-chung, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz, and of course in the final Albania's Eklund Kaci, 13-4. He was on fire that week 4 years ago, and few would dare to bet against a form of repeat.
Jeremy, is this a hair awkward? I mean, of course it's manageable, but
I think he just like kills it with a little spin like this. The only thing you're worried about is it getting there, and he did real well. And I'll tell you, Phil, I was there that week, and one thing Jayson did, and it's usually what the winner does in that tournament, this tournament, the US Open, is he just ran 5 or 6 racks in every match at some point. You know, he just separated himself, and he made one huge comeback, if I remember correctly, down 10-6 against Ko, or one of the Taiwanese players, Chinese Taipei. Fell a little on the rail here, though.
yeah. 7-0.
Okay, so 7.
1-2, 1-2. Over my shoulder, just everywhere.
Jeremy, you know, what it feels like to go
Jayson short to
the
break.
distance in this tournament
Leading
and lift the
7 rights to
trophy. It must be a source of immense pride.
Yeah, it really is. You kind of, at least me, anytime I've ever done well in a tournament, kind of forget where I'm at a little bit. When you're doing it, you kind of just fall into a zone. But then, yeah, afterwards, it's a big relief and a lot of good feelings. At the same time, I got there one time and didn't win, you know, and that's a totally different feeling. I'll tell you, Phil. And so, but you know, you want to get there. You want to have a chance to win the tournament, whether it falls short or not. And I'll tell you, Jayson, he's doing everything it takes. It looks like to not give any air here to Trump.
Well, for a moment, he was going to freeze him on the 3. Yeah, winning the U.S. Open, it's such a phenomenal accomplishment. So many great players over the years never quite capture a major of sorts, and you can just feel how badly everybody wants it here this week. What do you like here, Jeremy? Try to come back by where he is, maybe?
Yeah, I think he's going to. This is a shot that he should excel at. Of course, it's a little different.
Extension,
The
please.
snooker balls and the pool balls, but I mean, you know, you think they should be relative, right? Because they're all the same size. So
Naturally, he spent a lot of time in the chair over the last 15, 20 minutes. Oh, wow.
yeah, just the containing safety there, not bad. I think that was very intended, to be honest with you. It's not going to get him anywhere against Jayson, though. Jason's just going to place the 1 underneath the 2 again and run the cue ball 2 rails behind the 3, I think, anyways.
Yeah, nice call. Didn't quite get behind the 3, but he's left a lot of distance. Maybe a slightly better look, though, for Judd than last time.
Yeah, this is where you may see a little difference. Some of the great players may knock this long rail bank in where I'm not so sure Trump would really shoot at it.
He did
I
take
like
it on.
that. Yeah, I like that. His instincts, right? Pull instincts. Notice him holding the cue ball on the top rail.
That cue ball is precariously close, as Jeremy just mentioned, so Jayson has an awful lot of work cut out for him.
Well, I don't think he can do anything else but
Extension,
just
please.
roll the ball in and take the cut on the 2. He could overcut the 1 and bank it between the purple and the black back down table and run the cue ball 1 rail underneath the 3. That lays nice. Oh, he was feeling good, Nick.
Yeah, maybe a little too good. So talented. Did he just hook him behind the purple, Jeremy? It's
Well, I
hard
don't-
to tell from here.
Even if he can see it, really tough business here with the 1. Can't get on the 2, 3 on the opposite end of the table. So, but one thing for Trump, though, we are playing winner break. You can fall behind, but you know, if you're trailing, it's exactly the format you want to be playing.
Yeah, good point. Comebacks are never out of the question when it's winner breaks.
Well, look at Jayson Shaw in his first match. He was 3-3 with Esteban Robles and then ran a 6-pack to win 9-3. Robles never got back to the table.
Crafty.
I think he maybe have a pot. No, he's going to lay him behind the 3. Nice shot. I'm not sure he got there, though. It's close. I think he's okay.
Yeah, the round of applause would sort of signify that he is hooked. At the very least, Jayson will have a little jump of sorts if he wants.
Oh, I think he's got a shot.
I don't know if he has a shot at the pocket or not, or if he's laying him up on the 7. Oh, there's
That'll
your
tell
answer.
you. Yeah.
What do you like here, Jeremy?
Bad spot here. Not sure he can get the cue ball to the top rail there, the short rail on the right side of your screen and make it run or not. He may have to elevate. Oh, he's going to try and do it. So watch out for this point here. Slow the cue ball down. He's trying to play a deft touch behind the brown. And he's got to come away with some of these types of games, right? Just not only stay in these matches, but to get back in this match. That's going to be a little light.
And there's just an example of the sort of inexperience with the pool cloth and so on, Phil. In snooker, one would expect him to kind of be behind that ball 9 out of 10, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Another indication as well of just how tight these middle pockets are. The blue too was almost defying gravity hanging over the jaws. Oohs and ahs from the crowd. They couldn't quite believe it stayed up. But now, 8-0 is very much beckoning. Another runaway to tell you about on the one-loss side of the draw. Billy Thorpe has reached the hill against Sullivan Clark. Thorpe, stung by his defeat a little earlier, leads 10-1.
Jayson Shaw wins the right.
One-way traffic here. Jayson Shaw loving it. A little demoralised, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was just, you read my mind, Phil. I was wondering if, you know, he's such a champion. I don't think you're going to see a total give up, but maybe doesn't put in the effort each and every shot. Someone told me he was playing with a 16mm shaft. That's unbelievable.
Very thick for...
Right
Well,
9.
What millimeter do you go with? Something around 11?
12.4, I think it is, something like that. But Earl always comes with an equipment change that sometimes transcends into many players doing it.
Well, right. We were talking about Shaw's extremely long cue. Earl kind of pioneered that, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much for these guys with the addition, you know, the extensions and whatnot. No one's really followed with the double glove and the glasses like Earl had
Right.
not long ago. But
Well, he's 6-1 up anyway on his young German opponent.
Do you think he tries to spin between the 9-5 here, Jeremy? Or?
I don't know. This is funny. He can come above the 9 to get on the pink in the same pocket as the 3, but maybe a little thin on the pink. You know, he could use the 9 after that to maybe slow the cue ball down. I'm not sure. But I like your shot if he's comfortable with it, with the speed control. Oh, he went twice. That's not...
That needs to settle.
Yeah. Good thing for him is he can bump the purple if he needs. If he feels like he can't kill the cue ball here, he may be able to manage bumping the purple. I'm not sure. No, it looks like to me he's all right. But you know, Nick, you get a little out of line on one, you start to get a little more out of line on the next. And
I know all about that, my friend. Tough little shot here. Yeah, when this guy gets going, it's truly a sight to behold. He's one of the very best rhythm players in the game, in addition to just being one of the very best anyway, but just a scary kind of guy when he's feeling it. Killed the cue ball a little bit like you alluded to earlier, Jeremy, and it's looking like 9-0 for Mr. Shaw is imminent.
Yeah, and it's just always an event. You know, you see it in every sport. You see it in golf a lot. You see it in tennis a lot. Individual sports, but Shaw's always there to win. But something about that U.S. Open that just kicks him into gear.
Jayson Shaw wins the right.
Eagle Eye has his claws in one of snooker's all-time greats. This 9-0. Well, it's a stroll for Jayson Shaw. He is absolutely magic,
Thank you, right 10.
but maybe time is running low.
Jayson Shaw to break, leading 9 rights to 0.
Maybe time is running out.
Well, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just going to say certainly not far-fetched that Trump doesn't return to the table, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say that, you know, anytime you're an underdog, and nothing personal to Trump, but, you know, 99 out of 100 are going to be an underdog against Jayson. But, you know the match needs to start out close. You know, just, you know, they got to hang in there, right, for pressure to build and maybe for Judd to get a little more comfortable. And the score line be something like 5-2 or, you know, 6-3 or something like that before he makes a little run. But this looks pretty insurmountable.
Fancy a kick safe of sorts here, or a rollout?
Well, the 6s, the 4 and the 5 and the 6, excuse me, are allowing him to kick and hit a piece of the 1 and take a good chance at getting the safety here. Just letting the cue ball kind of run maybe a few feet up the table, not very far at all. Can't roll out. I don't think there's a rollout that's any good besides another kick shot. That's the shot I'm looking at, where he may be able to bump the 1 into the 4.
Extension, please.
Let the 1 or the 4 trickle to the rail and have the 6 there to help you. Just let the cue ball come out in the center of the table, something like that.
He's used the extension. Looks like he's
pretty sharp guy with these shots, by the way. He'll just pass the 6 barely with the cue ball. Watch.
Oh, beautiful call, Jeremy. Maybe came up slightly
a little heavy.
High.
He was wanting the 1 to, you know, hit the 4. Hit the purple 5 a little bit. That was the plan. But very nifty with all those shots. Now, the problem Trump has is he really needs to open the 5-6 if he can pocket the 1, but then he can't get back on the 3.
He's looking at it rail first, possibly off the 5. If he applies a lot of backspin, maybe he can go rail first, 1 off the 5, and zip it back for the red 3 in the bottom left of our screen.
I think it's land perfect. And again, here's some of those, you know, cueing instincts. A shot you're never shooting in snooker. Oh, he didn't draw it.
Well,
and I'll tell you, even more so, a lot of players aren't liking this, what's going on here. That Shaw's facing a pretty pressured situation here with this match. You know, a little unfamiliar with Judd Trump, and not only having a lot of success, but gets a little rhythm going too for future matches.
Yeah, absolutely. A very rare miss there on the 1, and this is absolutely vital for Trump to get going, of course.
Yeah, come on, Judd. Knock a few in.
Hit that pretty well, by the way.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when's the last time he got to pocket a ball? I'm trying to remember. It was 3-0 whenever I arrived, and I don't think I've seen him pocket a ball the last 6 games. A few safeties, a few kicks, but I don't think he shot at the pocket at all.
No, he's been really in the blender, as they say. That one got away from him slightly, although this is delicate. Do you think he has enough room to try to slice it in, Jeremy?
I think Jayson's great at this too, just shaving or coming across the 1 and just using solely the pink, letting the cue ball float down by the 3 to get the safety. It looks like to me he might be attacking though. Yeah, he went at it.
Yeah,
bit of a 2-way
mode, yeah.
And I know Trump's not looking at it this way, but he can do a lot for himself as well. You know, looking at future matches right here, trying to knock some balls in. The more he plays, he's only going to improve. We all know that. Maybe the concentration lost a little bit.
Yeah,
Phil?
you kind of called it.
Yeah, I think he's had the stuffing knocked out of him, to be perfectly honest. He is a champion who controls match after match and who bullies opponents. He's not used to this. Of course he doesn't win every match, but how often does he get absolutely blown away? Basically in snooker, never.
Beauty there, though. End of the day, he's in this moment now, so maybe he can find a little something. And great point you made, Jeremy. There's always stuff to take away from every match, even if it's not in the cards, so to speak, to pull out the win, although, of course, still possible. He'll be on the 1-loss side if he doesn't get it done here, and there's more pool to be played. And every one of these matches he gains vital experience, being that he's so raw at the game.
Yeah, when, you know, could you look at Judd Trump and consider himself a newbie? You know, like, oh, I need to consume everything I have. or I can anyways. Like right here, for instance.
Play that with deep screw and reverse side as he would on a snooker table, but the reaction was very, very different. So an awkward 9-ball that could be missed.
Yeah, very. And frankly, the heat is on to not lose 11-0. We know there will be ramblings or abound about that. But he does make it. Well done. He's on the board. They let him hear it here in AC.
Ironic applause. Well done, Judd. Well done, mate. Well done. The pool crowd being very hospitable to their new member. Tell you what, you know.
And for him to come out to this event was just a really invigorating thing for the pool scene and snooker alike, like you said. And
rack 11.
He's shown a lot of nice form on the break. He might be able to claw his way back in this thing, Jeremy. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. He's made some big comebacks in the snooker, and you know, if he gets some open shots and gets going, and I've always thought, you know, for the most part, you know, a few snooker players, I won't lie about it, Phil, we're kind of wondering about this pool game, you know, this 20 years ago or so, but most of the guys recognize how difficult all the cue sports are, and can really appreciate the game once they start to play it.
I remember that little phase back in the day when the boys thought they could just come across the pond and rip off these pool tournaments left and right. It's not so easy, gentlemen. I mean,
yeah, just to offer a counter argument, I think the guys are so good on the snooker tour. If they devoted a year or two full time to pool, they would be very, very, very dangerous. Maybe another very should be included.
No, I'm sure that that's fairly unequivocal, but nonetheless. This is tricky. Can he come 1, 2, 3 around for the purple 5 and the side of which he's playing the 4, Jeremy?
Oh, maybe going in between the 6-9 and then back between the 6-9?
Yeah.
Like a top right English
yeah.
here? Yeah, I think it's close. I think he might be even be able to go at the 4-8 with the cue ball doing that, maybe. But I think the one thing that snooker players realize, just like the English 8-ball players, and there's, you know, Jayson Shaw, you got your Darren Appletons, you know, that were great players in other cue sports that came over, but they recognize that, hey, this game has a lot of merit. It's not, you know, just some walk in the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I will endorse that completely. I love my time at pool tournaments, and you guys are absolutely at the top of the tree in terms of skill and knowledge. That's the thing, knowledge, knowing what to do. And pool's a game where you have to think not just literally but laterally.
Right. Have to cross that bank here, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's definitely going here. It's just a matter if he can't quite just stop his cue ball. He's got to cut the purple a little bit. So he may have to shoot the 6 from a little further away than he wanted, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Center of the hole there.
This is tricky here, though.
As you said, he did have to accept some distance.
Yeah, and he, again, not thin enough to move the cue ball easily, not heavy enough to hold it easily anyways.
Thus the deliberation.
Yeah, you
Extension,
may see him play for another bank on the 7 here. I mean, this is a treacherous shot trying to go 3 rails with the cue ball here.
It's a really nice find, Jeremy, whether he does or not. To just float out and play for the bank does seem quite logical. He does punch it across. I mean, when you hit him like that, why not? What a beaut.
Wow.
Yeah, they let him hear it.
Yeah, Trump will appreciate that stroke there. And that's another one of the shots that arguably some of the players think that weight really helps, that extension on the cue that adds some size and some power.
Interesting.
I think the smart ones know that's about 99% Jayson Shaw that makes that happen.
Right.
You've heard of Jayson and the Argonauts. Well, this is Jayson overpowering the Juddernaut. Jayson Shaw on the hill, old enough to be his grandfather. And he's giving him a lesson at the moment.
Well, I think no coincidence. You know, we're not hearing much from Earl over there, right?
How many times have you crossed paths with him over the years?
Oh my. Well, he was still a good friend of mine, and you know, spent a lot of time with Earl at different times, and of course Moscone Cups. Every Moscone Cup I played on, he was on. Played many doubles with him. Unique experiences all the time, you know.
I bet.
But you know, one of my heroes as well.
6 flies in, 1 careening around. It's the pink.
You got to appreciate that level that, especially with all the other great players. When Earl got to the finals, he rarely ever lost.
Which is, you know, speaks for itself.
Yeah. Probably why he has more titles than anyone.
This combination looks a hair steep, or?
Yeah. I mean, really has to turn it loose, and hard to be accurate there.
Just quickly on Strickland, to validate your point, Jeremy, he's won 5 US Opens. He's been to 5 US Open finals.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe the same with the world titles, Phil. Is it 5 World 9 Balls, I believe? Same thing?
I think it's 3.
Is it 3 World 9 Balls? Maybe 2
so.
World 8 Balls is what I'm thinking of, because that's another game that people don't realize how well he plays. He has plenty of 8-ball championships.
Underrated pocket of peace player as well.
Please.
Yeah. Well, just like Judd Trump, the instincts, right? So
He's used his extension here. He's weighing his options.
he's cutting it in the other corner. With the 2 hanging, he figures if he makes this, he's home free.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and if these guys are close to the ball, right, they're taking all on everything extreme. They just stay aggressive, and that's really the most beautiful part of the game.
And that was just a lovely shot there.
Sounded like he partially miscued there, Nick. Wasn't it a funny sound a little bit?
It was a little funny.
He didn't look at his tip or anything, and the
No.
cue ball drew awfully nice from like
Yeah.
8 feet away. So
Body language wise, it seemed business as usual, but it was a kind of tinky sort of sound.
when he gets that little touch going where it doesn't take many pre-strokes, you know, they just like a bump, go.
He's really something. He's eyeing the 7-8 situation. It might not pass, and the 4 is precarious as well. He'll try to just slide it down past the 7 and the 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure the 7's playable. He came a little hot with the cue ball. I thought he would want a little more angle to get behind that 7, but doesn't seem like he's going to make not only a bad decision, but a poorly hit ball either. So
he's looking at it now. I try to pull the cue ball back in some capacity for either a bank or the 7 in the top right, maybe.
He's going to hit the 8 here. He's going to open the 7. He's going to have a chance.
And we'll have a chance once again to, in all likelihood, watch that stellar execution. He's going to try to punch this thing across the table and out.
Yeah,
he comes around.
Yeah, I was going to say he may go forward because that's another shot he just really excels at.
Well, pardon me. It's been a real pleasure, gentlemen, watching Shaw get to work. See if he can handle this.
And as much as some other players don't like it, he may have gotten a few other players in stroke watching this match as well.
After that, Frankie Goes to Hollywood comes to mind. When 2 tribes go to war, only